Hello, and welcome back to the original Larry D's Food for Thought. Today, I know it's probably a lot of people haven't watched the video, but as usual and always, we read from the old King James Bible, and we will not be reading from that NIV or that New International Version. Okay, because things have been changed in it, so therefore we want to stick with this old version. Okay, I know. We also will be reading from the Old Testament and to the New Testament and to the law, to the testimony, here a little and there a little to try and get some understanding. Okay. Also, we'll be going over a few scriptures today concerning the title, The Lord God of Israel, and some of his many wonderful works. The Lord God of Israel, and some of his many wonderful works. Okay, I am going to share these scriptures with you right quick here. You can jot them down if you like. But yeah, people, I'm going to tell you something. The Lord showed his many wonderful works all through this Bible. Okay, and we're just going to go over a few of them, but one in particular that really sticks in my mind, and I marvel after it all the time, how he created us, how he created man. Okay? Created man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Ain't that something? And look at what we do. Look at no women. Let me rephrase that. Let's look at what he allowed us to do. Okay? I mean, he allowed us to invent cars, trains, airplanes, big, tall skyscrapers. I mean, all of this wisdom and knowledge that he gave us. But then again, too, man want to always take the credit. Tell you something, you need to give credit where credit is due. The Lord gave us all of this. Okay. And we're going to show you this because I'm going to give you an example on that. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you, people, the Lord did a lot of wonderful works, man. And he tell us, he said, hey, he is the one. He is the only one and true living God. And he is the only one and true living God that we should serve. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you something, there's a lot of other so-called gods out there that people want to try and call themselves serving. I'm gonna tell you something. The ending results will be devastating. We need to read this book, find out about this God, look at some of the things he done did. Tell you, man, that no other God can compare. Okay. But we're gonna look at a few of these things now. I'm gonna stop sharing these. We're gonna go ahead and get started in this. We're just gonna go over a few of them and everything. But we're gonna start this in Exodus. Start this in Exodus, the 14th chapter. And I'll take a look at this right here. This is when the Lord had sprung Israel out of Egypt, took them up out of there from that 430 years, and they had came to the shores of the Red Sea, and they were blocked in on both sides. The sea was in front of them, and Pharaoh's army was behind them because they was pursuing after them. Now let's see what the Lord did here. Okay, now we're gonna start reading at verse 13. Uh, this is Exodus 14 chapter. Start reading at verse 13, and it reads, And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, okay, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. Okay. Verse 14, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. The Lord gonna fight for these people. Okay. 15. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. Say, they thinking and say, how are we gonna go forward when we looking at this sea in front of us? Okay. But let's see. Verse 16. Excuse me. But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Whoa, man, look at this. Mm. Verse 18, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. Okay. Verse 21. And Moses scratched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night and made the sea dry land. Look at that. And the waters were divided. Mhm. Verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Hmm. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them, the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. So they took off. Said, well, if they can go through it, I guess we can too, right? Okay, let's see what happened. Verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. He took off that chariot wheels, and they drave them heavily. The Lord took them wheels off of that thing, and them horses were dragging them chariots through the ground, and it was hard. Okay, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fight for them against the Egyptians. See that? They said, man, we better flee. Then the Lord fighting for these people. All right. Verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon thy chariots, and upon thy horsemen. Then Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Look at that. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. Took them all out. Ain't that something? But the children of Israel walked through dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. Ain't that something? Well, I tell you, ain't no other God do a wonderful work such as that. Okay? But let's move on. Excuse me. It's honestly bothering me today. I'm sorry about that. But let's see. Let's turn right over here to Exodus, the 16th chapter. And I'm going to read one verse right here. Verse 4. And it reads, Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you. Look at that. Ain't no other God can do that, right? And the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. But the Lord rained food down, bread down from heaven. Okay, ain't that something? You ever seen any other God do anything like that? Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. But let's move on. Let's go over here to turn over here to First Kings right quick. Show you this here. Let's see, First King, going to First Kings, fourth chapter. Take a look at this here. Hmm, mark it here somewhere. Let's see. Deal with it. Okay. Oh, hmm. Yeah. And First Kings, the fourth chapter, and we're gonna take a look at this right here because this is a great king. It was King Solomon. Okay. The Lord gave him wisdom and knowledge beyond any man that he ever created on this earth. And so that's why I say, man, you got all these smart people. You have to ask yourself, man, where did I get these smarts from? Let's see. And we're gonna start reading that let me see, it's First Kings, fourth chapter, and we're gonna start reading at verse 29. Okay. And it reads, And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much. Mm. And largeness of heart, largeness of mind. All right. Even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Kokal, and Arda, the sons of Makhol, and his fame was in all nations round about. Mm. And verse 34, and there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. So, who gives you wisdom, knowledge? Who gives you the know-how to build stuff, to do things? None other than the Lord God of Israel. Okay, he can do that. That's a wonderful work there. I'm telling you. Now, let's move on. Let's go to hmm, let's go to Second Kings right quick. Show you this right here. Let's see. Yep. Second Kings, uh, fifth chapter. And I'm gonna show you something about this brother here, not by the name of Naaman. Okay. He was a he was a great guy. You know, he was captain over the Syrian host of the king, Syrian army. And let's see what happened to him. Let's see what the Lord did for this guy. Okay. And we're gonna start reading that let's see. We're going to start reading at verse 1, and it reads, Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Assyria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. He had that leprosy thing on him, right? You know, them sores and boils and stuff. That's a contagious disease and and everything. But let's see what happened here. Okay, let's see, verse 9. Okay, and it reads, So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariots and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. Elisha was a great prophet. And let's see what happened here. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. Okay. Now, verse 14. Then went he down. So Naaman, he went on down there. He was mad at first about it because he thought he needed to do something great, and everything. But no, but he went on down there anyway. Okay, 14. Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh a little child, and he was clean. Ain't that something? Okay. Mm. And he returned to the man of God and God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. He's going to give him a blessing, but he didn't take it. At least he wouldn't take nothing from it. But, man, look at that. He said, I know that there's no other God but the Lord God of Israel. Okay? But he took that leper from him. The Lord said he wound and he heal. He kill and he make alive. Okay, we're gonna read that. All right. Now let's move on. Let's see. Let's go back to First Kings right quick. Show you this corner. First Kings 18. Take a quick look at this here. Let's see. 16, 18. Okay. First King, the 18th chapter. And we're gonna start reading at hmm start reading at verse 21. And right here, Elijah, he's a great prophet too. It has some confrontation about uh two opinions here, and it was talking about serving, the Lord God of Israel, and they was these cats was serving another god called Baal, right? So let's see what transpired right here. Let's see what the Lord did. All right. Now we start reading here at verse 21, and it reads, "And Elijah came unto all the people and said, How long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him." And the people answered him not a word. They ain't say nothing, right? Okay, verse 23. "Let them therefore give us two bullocks, and let them choose one bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire on it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under." Okay, now, "and call ye on the name of your gods. Hmm. And I will call on the name of the Lord." Okay, Elijah, he gonna call on the name of the Lord. "And the God that answers by fire, let him be God." Hmm. And all the people answered and said, "It is well spoken." Okay, so we want to check this out, see who the real God is. Okay, now let's see, verse 26. "And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal." They called on their God, right? "From morning even unto noontime, they was calling on these cats, saying, O Baal, hear us." But there was no voice, nor any that answered, and they leaped upon the altar which was made. This guy was leaping up on it. They was calling upon that cat, right? Verse 27. "And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them." Elijah started mocking. He was laughing at them, man. He was mocking these cats. Let's see what he said. That Elijah mocked them and said, "Cry loud, for he is God." Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure, or perhaps he sleep and must be awake. He was mocking these cats, right? Oh, yeah, verse 28. "And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and latches till the blood gushed out upon them." Oh boy, was they called upon that pagan false god. And these cats keep cut themselves and whoop themselves with lashes, man. The blood, they started bleeding and stuff, man. Okay. Verse 29. "And it came to pass when midday was past, and they prophesied unto the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice, nor any to answer, nor any that regarded." Okay. Now, verse 30. "And Elijah said unto all the people, Come near unto me. And all the people came near to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down." Those cats down, they pounded so hard on that thing, it broke the altar down. Well, they were trying all they could, calling up on that day, all right. Okay, verse 31. "And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of sons of the Jacob, until whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed." So he built a trench around it, around the altar, right? "And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, Fill 4 barrels with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood." And he said, "Do it the second time." 4 barrels, and put them on the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, "Do it the third time." They put some water on it. They soaked that thing down good, right? All right. And he said, okay. And they did it the third time. And the water ran around about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. Put water in the trench, everything. It was soaking wet. All right. "And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the Lord God, and that thou hast turned the heart back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood and the stones and the dust. Look at it, and licked up the water that was in the trench. Ain't that something? Boy, no other God do that. Verse 39, and when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and they said, the Lord, he is the God. The Lord, he is the God. Ain't that something? Ain't no other God do that. Another wonderful work. Telling you. So let's move on. Let's go over here to let's go to Psalms right quick. Psalms 104. Yeah, so Psalms 104. And let's see. We'll start reading that up. At verse 1, and it reads, bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heaven like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chamber in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Ain't that something? Yeah. All right, verse 24. O Lord, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is the Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. Big fish, big whales. 27. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. Lord, feed them all. Okay, even feed you and I. Okay, put food on our table, clothes on our backs, and a roof over our head. Okay, what more can we ask for? Verse 28, that thou givest them they gather, thou openest thine hand, they are filled with good. Lord, open his hand. You got it. Okay, but he will bless you then. Keeping his laws and commandments. Need to read it. All right, but let's move on. Let's go back over here to Leviticus right quick. Show you this here. I'm going to Leviticus, what is it? Leviticus 26. Show you this right quick here. Leviticus 26. And let's see. Leviticus 26. I'll start reading at verse 2. And it reads, Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I would give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield her fruit. You keep the Lord's commandments, laws, and statutes, he will bless you. Okay, in due season. All right, but let's move on. Let's go over here to Deuteronomy right quick. Show you this. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And we're going to start reading at verse 39. And it reads, see now that even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of mine. See that? Lord kill. He make alive. He wounded. He heal. Okay? No. All right? But let's move on. Let's go over here right quick to Ecclesiastes. On Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, and I'm going to show you this. We read this before, but I want you to keep this in mind, okay? Ecclesiastes 12, verse 13, and it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. But fear this God. You see some things he can do. That's a whole lot of more things. You need to get in there and start reading this book. See what all the things, Lord, this God can do. And I think you want to learn to fear this God. Okay? All right. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. You think you gonna try and do something behind the Lord's back and he don't know about it? He see you, even the secret things you think you doing. Gotcha. Okay. But let's move on. One more place here. I'm gonna run over here to Luke right quick. I want to show you this because I'm gonna tell you, people call themselves serving the Lord and oh, I love the Lord. I do this, I do that. They go to church, they do this, jumping around, hooping, hollering, doing everything, and turn around and leave there and go out and curse the neighbor. Crazy. I'm gonna tell you something, you gotta watch yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Let me show you what this other cat can do. He said he want to be like the Most High. He want to be God. He'd never be. But you gotta watch this cat because he's tricky. All right? He tricky. And he will trick you. All right? So don't serve this cat. So you have to put on the whole armor of God to be able to quench those fiery darts that Satan throw at you. Okay, but this is when Jesus he had been baptized and he had been out and he had been fasting for 40 days, 40 nights. He was hungry. Satan come to him and tried to tempt him. All right, but let's see. Let's start reading at verse 5. See what transpired here. Pay close attention to this. All right. This is Luke 4th chapter, verse 5, and it reads, And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Verse 6, And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. You mean tell me Satan can give you stuff? Just better believe it. You better be careful how you get your stuff. Stealing, deceitfully. Tell you something. But ask yourself where it's coming from. Is it coming from the true and living God? Or is it coming from that other false God? That cat that want to be God? Ask yourself that question. Uh, verse 7. If thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine. You see that? Worship Satan, he give you stuff. You think it's gonna last? No way. But the ending results, I'm gonna tell you, you won't like it. Verse 8, And Jesus answered and said unto him, Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Okay? Him only. And we have to be that same mindset. Hey, get behind me, Satan. I ain't got time for you. So, Lord, so you serve, we got to serve the Lord. Okay? Because he is a terrible God. He is a wonderful God. He can hate you as much as he love you. I tell you something, but you see it's just a few things that he done. I mean, he did a whole lot more wonderful works too. But you need to sit down and read this book and you'll see the things that he did. Okay. And I think you want to serve this God and you might want to begin to fear him. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you something, he can do you easy. Okay. Speak the word. Okay. But with that food for thought, think on these scriptures and words throughout the course of the day. And until next time, peace.